His Excellency, George Wea, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
I see in the next few months a nicer country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
Once again, a very warm welcome to the program. This is The Morning Call. I am Nyasha K. Mutizwa. Now, we kick off the show in Liberia. In office for just 2 years, Liberians are growing increasingly impatient with President George Wea. A struggling economy, rising food prices, and corruption accusations have stirred anger and discontent against Wea, who campaigned on a promise of delivering pro-poor policies. There have been several protests against Wea's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. Policies. There have been several protests against Wea's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. Been several protests against Wea's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. In several protests against Wea's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. Been several protests against Wea's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. And now we have one of the organizers and an activist joining us on the line. This is Mr. Mo Ali, who comes to us from the capital, Monrovia, in Liberia. A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Now, why have you organized this march against President Wea?
Morning. As to your first question, we have organized the march not particularly against President Wea, but against the style of governance. There is exclusion of people who express their feelings, people who criticize government. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced by the mismanagement of 20. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced government. There is corruption all over government, is evidenced by the there is corruption all over government, is evidenced by the mismanagement of all over government, is evidenced by the mismanagement of 25 million. He has refused to prosecute those involved. There's still the issue of 16 billion lingering. There is this issue of interfering with the judiciary. There is this issue of consistent interference with the functions of the legislature. There are lots of things. We have violations of our constitutions and laws. And so we are organizing this protest to tell Mr. Wea that these things are wrong, and also to tell the country how he intends to resuscitate the economy. As to the United States calling for dialogue between the ruling party and the opposition, let me say this very clearly. The opposition and pressure.
Once again, a very warm welcome to the program. This is the morning call. I am Nyasha K. Mutizwa. Now, we kick off the show in Liberia. In office for just 2 years, Liberians are growing increasingly impatient with President George Weah. A struggling economy, rising food prices, and corruption accusations have stirred anger and discontent against Weah, who campaigned on a promise of delivering pro-poor policies. There have been several protests against Weah's rule, and another major demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. Planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. Demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally. Another major demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. And now we have one of the organizers and an activist joining us on the line. This is Mr. Mo Ali, who comes to us from the capital, Monrovia, in Liberia.
To return to that issue of welcoming deportees, it's been reported that Liberia received communications from the US before this meeting suggesting that, and you say it didn't come up during the talks, but did you receive some sort of message from the US before?
Prior to coming to this meeting in the US, we have received no information about deportees. And I think there's a lot of miscommunication. We have had discussions while here in DC around different types of engagements around migration, but we have had no communication on deportees, as you indicate.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country, so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much
important. His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country, as well as his people-friendly policies. he has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
God, thank him for his grace and mercy that over us. He is faithful and true. We are grateful that he kept watch over us throughout the night and has brought us into this time and day for such a time to keep making society better, Liberia better. Yes, as he protects us, he is the God who isn't religious, but he just existential. So if you understand your God, he is political, economic, religious, military, social, he's just everything. And so everybody is under obligation to make his society better. Anything short of that, when you face him on Judgment Day, you will regret why I was president, pro tem, vice president, minister, director, and just didn't have the fear of God. I least expect these questions that are coming from God. Those questions about society will come up. So when you sit there, enjoy your morning politically, enjoy your position politically, enjoy whatever you can, enjoy the niceties of life. At the close of the day, you will not tell him that I was president, so I had to deal with the political issues exclusively. The question will go back, how did you reign? How did you govern my people? How did you bring them out of poverty? You wouldn't say there and say the people were disgruntled. Even God might likely ask you a democratic question, not even likely, but he will ask democratic question. You deny my people the right to assemble. Did you not see the protest that I sanctioned before Pontius Pilate when the people assembled and then they had to exercise their democratic right to present their petition to Pontius Pilate? Didn't you see that? Didn't you see all of those events? And you wouldn't say, because, our president, sit down, take it for jokes. So we are grateful to God. Another day again, we are so thankful that God is with us. He is the good God, faithful God. Sophie Blamo, Siliki Traore, Diane David, Manhattan, New York, Henry Toll, Caldwell, Vinicius Bar, Newtown, Claude de Paul, James Lamine, Moyan Sharif, District 9, Barbara Stanford, Brooklyn, New York City, Survivor Zongba, Paris Slobot, New Jersey, Yasser Sharif, the United States, Murphy Hinnen, 9th Street, that's District 9, Clady Allison, Delaware, the United States, Musa A. Sharif, Sophie Community, Congo Town, Mohammed Sharif, Mamadi Diakete Intellectual Forum, Jacob Town, St. Francis Community. Hope you're keeping that intellectual center alive. That is his legacy, if not one of his legacy, or if you people can remember him for anything, that intellectual center. Matilda Stevens, that's Quinlan Banks, Broadville, Moulton, Conan Road, Juja, Onewell, Johnsonville, Jackson, C. Pond, Junior, Block C, Community, Iron Factory, District 13, member of Block Titan Intellectual Center. Good to have you on. Romancio Latupan, Kennebo, the leader, the chairman of the Intellectual Center, the everlasting chairman, chairman for life, the only chairman that is above all chairmen of the Republic. No chairman gets close to him by standard, by attitude, by conduct, by goodwill. He is unprecedented by nature. Ralph Cooper, Denver, Colorado. Samson Carey, District 11, Mansari Abdullahi, JJY Community, Johnson Dolly, New Jersey, your residents, Elizabeth Thomas, Waterside, Nevet Pevet, Morovia, Alicia, Gardnersville District 11. Hope that you are good because you are in the palace of the speaker. Samuel A. Allison. Yes. Maryland County, Hoffman Station, Maryland, the county that saw development first than any other county. Every other county followed. The protocol so long, Josephus Manning, the city that never sleeps, New York. Good to have you on. All of you great people. I appreciate all of you. We can run down because the protocol is long, then we wouldn't get out of here or talk what we've got to if we just focus on the protocol. We are giving out some money as usual. Every day is Money Day from our partner through arts to you. The King's Cash giveaway. It's 4,000 today. Dial star 79 and star 24 hash. Play with $1 or 70 cents US. That's all. And then you can have your 4,000 on a Tuesday. The weekend is coming. Liberty, Fortune, Squash, and Win. Draw. Keep playing. Always play. You can never tell. You might be that person who will have hit the jackpot before Saturday and might be called for 1,000 United States dollars. Just squash a win, reasonable as it is. The Liberty Fortune Squash and Win game, 1,000 United States dollars every Saturday. Play as many times as you can, and just you are in line to receive 1,000. The King Support Basket Awards, which you can drop something in. We appreciate every drop in it. We will be thankful. The numbers are on the screen, both out of Liberia and in Liberia. Out of Liberia, the send wave 0555 885 885. The number here or local number, as we'll say, 0777 017 885. Drop whatever you can. Patience Wisner, following from your residence opposite the Ministry of Public Works, that's Lane Street, Joan Mamalu. You are also on having buried your father, Ibrahim Kurman. You are following too from in your keke. Good. Let's get started. Time is of the essence. Everybody knows the atmosphere presently, but we wouldn't start in Liberia. We go out of Liberia because significant events are also unfolding out of Liberia, which all of us need to know because they are the same political issues. Moreover, they have implications on us, or we can learn so much, or we can reject some of these countries we share proximity or closeness, but the issues that are unfolding can be of help or cannot. It's all but fair that you know what is unfolding in these African countries, Nigeria, Ghana, and other places. So Nigeria, after it was discussed, one of the things, if not the only reason, our president, along with 4 other presidents, were invited to the White House, then I do not know. But I am convinced that this was the main issue. I can understand how America operates. They wouldn't tell you upfront that this is what we want, you must accept. They will try to play the cards in a way that you will get so accustomed or get so used to the game. And in the middle of the game, when you're enjoying it so much and you don't want to buy out of the game or you don't want to leave the game, then they bring XYZ, which you will be compelled by the situation to accept. So the U.S. made this proposal. We saw the list. Liberia is on that list, and Nigeria is one of the countries on the list. Nigeria had earlier given its position that it is not ready to accept the proposal by the United States to accept undesirable people in their land, as much as the United States government don't want undesirable people and sees Africa as the dumping ground. The U.S. now is, the United States government is warning Nigerians of the consequences of that, and overstaying their visa, saying that if one remains in the United States beyond the authorized period of stay, that person could be deported or face a permanent ban on traveling to the United States, while they insist that Nigeria should be open to their proposal to accept those undesirable people, deportees, killers, murderers, killers is the same as murderers, thieves, all of those people, they should accept them. Also, Ghana has moved to announce the withdrawal of military protection from all civilians who are not legally entitled to it, including certain public officials, former ministers, and business people. What is the reason for that? To curb the mixed use of military personnel for private gain and address abuses within the security sector. What impact will it have? It will affect political figures and private individuals who have been receiving unauthorized military escorts. The government in Ghana has warned that any military personnel providing such services without approval will face severe consequences, underscoring its commitment to ending the exploitation of military resources for personal good. Also, in the same Ghana, they've taken a decision which we need to do same in Liberia. They have taken a decision, and that decision is they are cutting, if not bringing to an end. The government in Ghana has taken this decision. President Mahama has ordered the cancellation of few allowances and allocation for all political appointees with immediate effect. I should read the communication to you word for word, besides paraphrasing. President Mahama scraps fuel allowance allocation for appointees, July 15. Here's the communication. President John Mahama has, effective immediately, directed the cancellation of payment of fuel allowances and allocation of fuel to all political appointees. The directive forms part of a broader curb in government expenditure aimed at curbing costs and channeling public funds into priority areas. The president believes that leadership must also bear its part of the sacrifices it is calling on the people to make. The latest cost-cutting, C-O-S-T, the latest cost-cutting measure follows sweeping reductions in the size of government through the appointment of fewer ministers and presidential office staff. Other measures have included stopping satellite TV subscriptions for offices at the presidency and other government facilities. This is the communication from the president's office, signed by Felix Kwakei Ofosu. He is the spokesperson of President John Dramani Mahama. That will take us back to Nigeria. The people of Nigeria are mourning the death of Muhammadu Buhari, former president, and a low-key ceremony is taking place to bid him farewell. On the French of it, our man did a simple look back at his legacy. Let's have a listen.
The Lekki Tollgate Massacre, the Lagos to Ibadan railway line, former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari's legacy is a mixed bag. In 2015, Nigeria elected Muhammadu Buhari as president. He was the first opposition candidate to defeat a sitting president. One of Buhari's initial priorities was the war on corruption. Under his leadership, Nigeria renewed its efforts to recover stolen assets, prosecute high-profile cases, and encourage whistleblowing. While the results were not perfect, it reignited an important conversation. Public funds should serve the public good. On the economic front, the Buhari administration invested heavily in infrastructure, including roads, bridges, railways, and airports. He championed local farming, tightened import restrictions to boost domestic production, and expanded social welfare programs. However, these efforts came with challenges. Border closures and currency policies contributed to inflation, debt rose, and the naira weakened. Additionally, Buhari took office with a promise to defeat Boko Haram. While the terrorist group was pushed back from major strongholds, new threats emerged, including banditry in the northwest, kidnappings, and farmer-header violence. Buhari's response was mixed, and for many Nigerians, the security situation got worse. Critics often describe Buhari as a distant president because he spent extended periods abroad seeking medical care. Perhaps the most significant stain on Buhari's legacy was the 2020 EndSARS protest, which turned deadly. Many young Nigerians sought relief from police harassment, but the government's response was heavy-handed. Reports indicate that 48 people were killed when the army opened fire on protesters. Despite an inquiry that concluded that the army was responsible for the fatalities, no one was ever prosecuted. Muhammadu Buhari passed away in July 2025 at the age of 82. What is your perspective on Buhari's legacy?
Thank you, sir. What a fine piece summarizing his life as the president and of the presidency. What can we pick up from the cuts that are taking place in Ghana, cutting waste or cutting down on waste or avoiding wasteful. The same thing happen and stay happening in our country. Government officials receive hundreds of scratch cards, receive hundreds of scratch cards. Their generators are paid for fuel by you, because you who pay your tax, the taxpayers' money, are the ones that are going to those people. Pay for the car they ride, pay for the fuel or gasoline they use, just everything. Imagine a government official, a minister of government, a senator, a representative having pretty close to 500 or more than 500 gas slip, least to talk about the other. So much so that they can highly exhaust. So some of them, besides giving it to people, they give some to their colleagues to sell and bring the money to them. It is a high profile or a classified business. I know that because I've heard that before. If you have between 500 to 700 gas slips, if you have between 700 to 900 scratch cards, you can exhaust everything in a month. And the following month, your supply is coming, another 900, almost 1,000. So Ghana looks into it and say, but these things, these are waste of funds. Why? The people are earning their just pay, which they can use to get these things. Unlike us, look at the guys at the legislature. Look at the guys in the executive. Presidents after presidents see these things, but will not move to cut them. Ironically, the president of today say no business as usual. Sometimes you wonder whether, no disrespect to Mr. President, but whether he understands that expression, no business as usual. Because no business as usual, if Mr. President understands it to mean exclusively corruption, then he does not know. Here is it. I researched it well. It simply means any wasteful act, any illegal business, any deal, anything that affects a person or affects the institution and profits another person. It is not only corruption, say you steal. But if you look at one person and gave him 1,000 scratch cards, and each of that card on the market is sold for $5 United States, do the multiplication. Every month he receives 1,000 gas slip together with other benefits. At whose detriment that man is enjoying? The people. Those, you people who they refer to as ordinary citizens. And that is why they put that tag on you, ordinary citizen, because they feel you are the downtrodden, you are the peasants, you are you are just below the line, and they are the aristocrats, the bourgeois, the ones who should enjoy good life. If this decision the Ghanaian president took, if our president really serious to cut on waste, the country will save so much money. Interestingly, he is unable because corruption has overwhelmed the government. Not only that, he does not have the willpower. Don't understand willpower to mean only the person has the authority. But the willpower, when an untouchable, or when somebody seems an untouchable person corrupting the system to the core, you look at that person and dismiss that person and persecute that person. He can, because too many people are in his government, which we are aware of. They are manipulating the system. They are getting rich, and he is aware of that, but he does not have the will to do anything against them. But the people who are on the other side, the little ones, are the ones that he suspends. If you can tread this path, any good leader, when Wea came to power, what did Wea do? Ellen left this country with the CDC government inheriting substantial debt. Ellen people, Ellen ministers, Ellen legislators, they were taking very high salaries, 12,000. Buhari was in that government. He knows that. Government ministers, legislators, and other people were taking 12,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 monthly. Let me give you a simple situation. Woki Parker, the one who was at the Freeport, something came out, and Ellen decided to do a court. What did she say? She called a news conference to say that if Ellen cuts her money, she will pack her bags and go back to the United States. Many of them in Ellen's government would say that for the love of the country, I was doing work in America, I was making good money in America, the president called me, and for the love for my country, I had to leave my job in America to come and work here. B.N. Kesely was at Maritime. How many dollars was B.N. Kesely taking? Between 25 to 30,000 every month. B.N. Kesely got rich from Maritime. Ask how many dollars now Nitolai is taking. You will never know. When President Wea came to power, he looked at all those astronomical figures and said, this is detrimental to the survival of the people. Why would a minister who is under obligation to serve his country, though he has to be paid and the country is paying him, but he's receiving exponential amount? Let's cut this down. Ellen left it at 15. During Ellen, it was 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. And no UP person should call and debunk that because we saw it in Ellen's regime. And no. What led Wea to say, let us cut the salary cap? Because it was high. The government was not generating much. The official salaries were high, but they were opportune to have had oil and other people in the country, so money was all over the place. The international community was infusing. I am saying this to tell you that this decision taken by John Dramani Mahama, if we're serious to cut on waste, then we can do the same. When when Trump announced that USAID was no more functional, or they were reviewing USAID operations, what happened? We went off balance. We did not know what to do in Liberia. Already, Mr. President don't have any modern innovations mentally, except for the few people around him. So he just sat there. What happened? You heard people suggesting, cut on this, cut on that, cut on this, avoid this, avoid that. You will have money. The countries that got affected too by USAID announcement, what happened? Though It hit them, but they were in a position because they had some austerity measures in place already. They had a system in place just in case there was a contingency plan. So it did not affect them much when Trump announced it. So beyond that, I'm not talking about the developed countries, not talking about African countries. So beyond that, they were moving. Unlike Liberia, even within that time, President Wea never had the audacity to tell his officials, cut on everything, or Mr. Finance Minister, you cut down those fuel, squash car, generator money, tire money, fuel money, oil money for engine, cut down all those things. Madam Pro Tem, Mr. Speaker, tell your people, cut down. But instead, they say, oh, well, y'all cut down on one, cut down on one. That's why it's affecting them today. The president of Ghana is taking measures. He's trying the best he can to stabilize the economy. And you can't stabilize the economy without taking some drastic decisions. What will you pay? You're giving your government minister 1,000 squash cards, 1,000 gas slips. You buy a car for the man. You pay everything. You're depleting the coffer of the country. No reason why this country can do nothing developmental on its own. Everything it is begging. Look at Ghana. Look at Ghana. Look at Sierra Leone. No country is an island, but you will have to take certain decisions so that you can have funding domestically to do other things besides the revenue you generate. Look at Ghana today. The measures taken by Ghana, look how Ghana has advanced. Look right behind us, Sierra Leone. Look what Madabio is doing. See how Sierra Leone is advancing. No reason why when the man makes requests, appeal for loan, or given what the international community sees, they gave him what he wants. The international community is convinced and ready to help you when they see the kind of measures you are taking, besides how you are generating funds domestically and what you are using. What are we doing? We stay giving all those people. Look at the guys in the legislature. Look at President Wea officials. Look at the cars they stay riding. Trump, before Trump took that decision, the guys were scrambling over new model of cars. The other senators say they want to ride the other car. The other representatives say, I represented this, I should be riding the other car. The other cabinet ministers say everywhere. Extravagant, opulence life. President Wea sits there and saw all of those things today affecting the country. When you are a leader, one of the good characteristics of a leader is to take drastic decision, no matter how his subjects feel. He knows why he's taking the decision, and he accepts every responsibility or consequences of that decision because he knows that it will turn out good for the institution. The subjects may not understand it, but he understands it. He sees the end. He sees glory at the end because it puts the country on a good. The people can say, let me use the word we're using in Ellen's. It came from Ellen's time. It went in Wea's time. Let me use that word, trajectory. It puts the country on a good trajectory. Well, cut down on all those things. What will you pay legislator 12,000 United States dollars? Then you gave the legislator, the senator, the representative 1,000 squash cards, 1,000 gas. Look at these few days. They were complaining. They almost fought in that House of Representatives for gas slip. Can you imagine that? How shameful was that? Legislators, lawmakers, people who call themselves honorable, almost fought for gas slip. Something they can afford, that a legislator can move to the place and give his money and put his gasoline in a car. He's fighting for it. that it is his entitlement. You see why sometimes you just need to sit down and think carefully? And I can see why some people say they weren't voting for representatives and they did not vote. See the guys in the executive. Look at Bwaka government officials. See some of the vehicles the guys are riding. Yesterday, they were complaining against Wea and his people that they were riding models that were not even or were just sample. That they were living opulence life. You ever saw throughout the reign of Ellen and George Wea, you ever saw Mo Ali going to pool? When Bwaka King went to pool, you ever saw how they call him, or not him but her, Cornelia Cra going to swim in pool? Yesterday, when CDC people were doing that, they were condemning it. And you know why they were condemning it? Because they were poor. They could not afford it. They were poverty-stricken. Today, everything they condemn, they're doing it because they are rich now. They can afford thousands of United States dollars. Until we can reach the point to cut down on unnecessary spending, our economy will not grow. Gafwan is struggling. A half of Gafwan having a sweltering time or a difficult time. Unlike Ellen's time when he had experts all around, unmale people were here, experts from the United Nations. Ellen herself is economically inclined, so it was easy for him. Before he can reach at IMF, Ellen Finney doing her groundwork. Before he can get to the World Bank, Ellen Finney doing the groundwork. Anywhere Ellen sent him, before he can, Ellen Finney, domestically, she knew how to tackle situations. So it was easy. Today, it's difficult for Gafwan. This government cannot make significant cut on anything like the decision taken by the Ghanaian government. Josephus, what are you saying? You're not getting the sound? You're not getting me, please. Josephus said, check the sound. Are you referencing me? Please, if not, give me, let me know. Then the guy will come in to do it. If you're getting it, please let me know also. So that what unfolded in Ghana, the guy is doing his best. He's not 100%, but I think these decisions that he's taking will help. Yeah. Will help save so much money for the country. That's how you balance the economy. It puts you in a position to really tackle some issues, especially when at a certain point in time when your partner say they can afford this, they can get you this. All right. So it puts you in a position that you will be able to look back and say, okay, the international community said they can lend us this, but we have X, Y, Z, we can move. You always have a fallback position. And this is how you have a fallback position. You cut down on unnecessary spending. I look forward to the day that this country will cut down on about 50 to 75, 80% on all of those things. Very unnecessary. Why would you give the man is earning at the close of the day? He takes his pay. But before he can take his pay, you give him gas slip, you give him squash car, you give him everything. You feed his generator, you pay his generator, you pay his security, you pay for his house, you pay for everything. Do you know that these ministers, some of these ministers in the executive, their house is being paid for? The government paid for it. Some of them who don't have a house in Liberia and they are living in the hotel, the government pays for it. Besides paying them their just salary. Why will Liberia not be a struggling country, a subservient country, a liability country? Great economists of the world, developed countries, they go with cuts. Then a country that is completely naked, ain't get nothing, stay acting like big ball. If Canada, if European countries and other countries around the world, if they can go with cut, if they can cut down on unnecessary things, why you can do it there? Why you can do it? And then you call yourself government? No, no. You need to do something. The guys are wasteful in this country, very wasteful, very. Okay, so let's come to the issues unfolding in our country. President Buhari has part ways with Abdullahi Kamara. He has said goodbye to Abdullahi Kamara and Patrick Horner, his boy, and the other guys now will stir the affairs of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority after the president said goodbye to Abdullahi Kamara, even though he was exonerated, but the exoneration was just go and sit down. Yeah, just go and sit down. Leave everything. At least you are clear. So the president has nominated Patrick Horner, Angela Cassell-Bush, and Ben Fofana as commissioner of Liberia Telecommunications Authority. And that what came from the Senate today, Tuesday. They will now appear for confirmation hearing. Yeah. They will now appear for confirmation hearing. We'll have to wait and see who, Masekwe, Clarence Masekwe, he is the acting head. So these guys being acting, and I think they've been nominated officially now as LTA commissioners. Patrick Horner, the argument came out that his generator, everything is being paid for by the government. All these people. Another one that has come out that President Buhari has dismissed, first dismissal, as far as I know. He has dismissed Deputy Justice Minister for Administration. She's Masa Jalaba, and replaced her with Councillor Cora Konowa. Yeah. And he has also nominated Peter Solo, former superintendent of Grangida County, to serve as the new head of the National Lottery Authority. Reginald Nangwe tenure expired. So Peter Solo, superintendent of Grangida County, has been nominated to serve as the head of the National Lottery Authority. While Masa Jalaba, who was the deputy minister for administration, Councillor Cora Konowa, will now take her place. The reason for the dismissal, it has to be no, but that's what coming in, that she is off. She is off. The man say he's taking drastic decisions now. Okay. Number, that's what he ought to do. It is his responsibility. Yeah. Masa Jalaba, go sit down. There is not a guarantee that when you support a revolution, you will stay in it forever and ever. No. So those of you who were saying all kinds of stuff, oh, we have messed this country up. Yeah, this government will fix the country, all kinds of things. So you're coming sit down on the same bench as they complain also. Because you will not get a voice to talk again. Buhari dismiss you. He can bring you back in government again. It finish. So you'll find something else to do now. Masa Jalaba. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Let's start with what has been trending. Amen. You want to ask yourself, what is the police force turning into under Police Chief Gregory Coleman? You want to ask yourself. And you also want to ask whether those police officers actually know who they are. Their institutional proud. A video is trending. Imagine how people out of this country, other security people, discussing this, Liberian police officers under Joseph Yeman Boakai. Now, this is not a drill. It is not a drill. We know that the military, the police, paramilitary, at a certain point in time, they go through certain drills. This one is not a drill. Now, I can understand Unity Party people will come up defending it to the letter because they think, yeah, nothing wrong with it. But listen, this is not a drill. Come on. You can have a police officer, especially if it was a male, even if it was a male. But you can have, look at this female officer. Look at what she's doing. Look at. And you say there are two. And what are they doing? They're just playing. It was just a play. Romanticizing the ground. Romanticizing the ground. No disrespect, but sexing the ground. Oh, yes. That's what the video portrays. That's what it portrays. Look at it. Look how you can have female police officers, Liberia National Police. How you think your international partners will even take you? So what were they doing? What were they doing? It wasn't a drill. Just came out to say, oh, we're ready. Ready for what? And you had these female officers romanticizing the ground. And let me say, I will say it raw, please accept my unprofessionalism. Sexing the ground or having sex with the ground. Because look at the lady, that's just what she's doing. That's just what she's doing. So what can you say, or what can they tell us that they were doing professionally? What can the police director say? Was there any other? There was nothing else that they could do than this? Che. Female police officer, you allow yourself to be used that way? And you know we are in the war of technology? Well, the people who say those who are coming out to protest, they're not bringing their children, the same way they are using you, they cannot do what you are doing, but they want you to do it because at the end of the day, it will affect you. You will want to get a position or to move somewhere, and these videos will come out. And that will take me to John 11:35. I said John 11:35 because that's what they brought out. So they've been rehearsing for the July 17 protest. They've been flexing the muscle according to them, and they were chanting, singing this song using John 11:35. John 11:35 simply means, it says, Jesus wept. In a political context, it means the protesters will weep. If you use that expression as a song, John 11:35, Jesus wept. You'll look it up in the Bible. That's what it means. It's a short verse. In a political context, you're saying that the organizers will weep if they came out and dare try anything funny, meaning they will regret it. So let them hear dancing. Yeah, you want to see the flexing their muscle ahead of July 17. Do you have to? Does the police have to do this ahead of July 17? No. You're state security. You don't have to come outside showcasing, dancing all over the place, acting like you're going on a war front. Even if you're going on a war front, you can dance like this. But because I just don't know what the guy, hey man, dancing for what now? If something sparks up in this country, all these people that are in the blue, they will run away, they will go high. We saw here 1990. 1990, before 1990, they were beating people all over the place. They were flexing their muscle. By the time they heard one or two things, all of them. That's why the people were checking and say, take out your trousers to see the line on the feet. They ran. All the things are for nothing. What are you doing all that thing for? Coming up, you dancing, you brandishing weapons here and there, as if by doing that, the protesters will feel afraid. You can never, ever attempt. This is a test. This is a trap. If the government, if a police officer, already, the international community watching. So if you just say, okay, oh, the people coming, we'll do this, we'll do that, and then we'll say they are the cause, the same thing, we didn't want them to come out. These people, they are disgruntled, they are this. It will not work. But before I get into that, let me talk the irony of the so-called patriots. Let me share with you the irony of the so-called patriots. My dear sister, you who allow yourself to romanticize the ground, sex the ground, you damage you all over the place, you all over the world right now. And it's good that your face show real good. Gregor Komane can help you. Your image damaged. I know where you are right now. You are psychologically down because you are the one. Your image all over. People have spread it like it has gone like wildfire, like a blazing fire. You call yourself professional police officer and you reduce yourself to that level. The guys in the hierarchy, you think they can do that? You think they can allow any other female within the hierarchy to do that? But they see you as people who they can use, they can toss to and fro because you people lack that morality. Because you think you're police officer. You're sexing the ground, you're romanticizing the ground. There's nothing you can say to it. Nobody can attach anything professional to it because there is nothing professional in that thing. Nothing professional. The guys wearing on the ground, but you ladies were on the ground, romanticizing the ground, sexing the ground. I say I'm using that expression intentionally because you see, when you go watch some of those ladies, they have certain African dance. When the music is playing, yeah, you see they dance in an awkward way. They were there and they just start pumping the ground like somebody is romanticizing with a lady. So that's the same thing she was doing because she does that socially. So she carries it into the police force and demonstrated that. Pathetic, man. Shameful. Madam, your image all over the world right now. Then Gregor Como image. Then the deputy police director for, I know to say 102 or what. Not anybody that your image all over the world. People giving it different interpretations. Eh? The man ready for, yeah. I said things rough on Gafan. The man, and he let media Bennett Gafan love radio. He read it again. Yeah. They say, what happened? He will be live on ELBC tomorrow, the 16th. And it will be carried on 105.5. That's Prime, Joy, Punch, Cool, okay. That he about to give off the update and engagements on the salary of President Wea visit to the U.S. Africa Summit and other trending issues. Gafwan, you come in, nothing new. You come in to say everybody knows what happened in America. That's Africa Summit is clear. You can say anything there. There was nothing economic in that whole summit. It was purely political, chief. Just find something to do. Sit down. That place giving you hard time. I told you, Gafwan, don't waste your time. Try to develop an exit strategy and leave Waka with his government. You think Buema Kamara, even though they forced Buema Kamara out of that place, but you think Buema Kamara was going to stay there? And Buema Kamara was even excited to leave because he saw all of these things coming. Thank God the man is a strong Christian. The man prays a lot. So God revealed it to him. That Buema Kamara said, okay, no problem. I wash my hands. I see you are gone. The Buema Kamara that they say he was severely sick, unable, because that's how they portray it, that he was sick, so he was unable to continue as the Minister of Finance. Weeks after Buema Kamara was relieved from that position, he got a very high, top position in the international community. Did he get sick? Is he sick doing his work? No. Gafwan, you can make it. Samuel Twe is not a saint. But you have to believe when Samuel Twe said it would take a finance minister for the next 10 years grappling how to get things fixed in this economy. Is bad off. You can make a chief. So you can go from radio station to radio station. It will not help you. You go from IMF meeting to World Bank meeting, you come back, the situation stay the same. Nothing changing. Let's talk the irony of the so-called patriots. It is deceptive. It is sycophantic. It is uneducated. It is just attach all the adjectives to it. All of those people who are condemning, who are speaking against, who are opposing July 17 protests, the so-called educated ones, I say so-called because that's how they're portraying themselves. Here is the irony. You acknowledging that protest is wrong, it leads to violence. But you acknowledge there's suffering in the country. And you acknowledge the magnitude of the suffering. But you prefer to live with the suffering and oppose any change to alleviate the suffering. Is that not an irony? You feeling the pinch of the suffering. You know it very well by your education and exposure. But you decide to remain mute. You silence yourself. You intend to do nothing but it about it. It is affecting you. You're groaning within. Others see it necessary to take action so that the people are liberated. But you say, no, it is wrong. And it will lead to this. Then what good is your education? How are you helping the very country? The educated people Liberia has, yesterday they were vocal. Yesterday they were encouraging. Yesterday it was not caution. But today it's caution. What is your education? Because people use their education to help people. How can you be an educated person? You know that the Constitution provides for that. And you don't want the people to protest. You put in all kinds of stuff to it. Here's another irony. Listen, the educated ones will use you. And they are right to use you because your five senses, you think they are not worth enough that you use, so they will think for you and act for you. They acknowledge suffering under Buhari government, but they choose to remain silent, even though they are feeling the pinch of it. But they say no. These citizens should not go about to do anything because it will cause chaos between the people who are about to exercise the right on July 17 and the people who are opposing, who is creating panic, who is creating a tension packed atmosphere before July 26, the so-called educated ones. Because when you speak in the negative all of the time, when you talk about evil, violence, you know what you're doing? You are not only hypnotizing the society, but you are creating panic. You are instilling fear. You are telling them this is going to happen when the protesters are not even taking in that direction. You are portraying it like this is going to happen, so they should rise up against the protesters. Ironically, you have created a tension-packed atmosphere. You are creating panic. You are causing chaotic atmosphere. Because we live in a culture that is not enlightening. What the people hear is what they live by. It's what they believe. When you use your education to tell people that protest is violent, when protest has absolutely nothing to do with violence, but just to present their petition, what are you telling the people? What are you turning them into? People or people who you expect that they will not even stoop so low by their education. They come so low. I'd rather tell the people that protest is right, it is their constitutional right, and the organizers should coordinate it in a way that it will go peaceful. 1. 2, I rather say to the people, as I am saying it now, nothing is going to happen. Don't be afraid. Protest is not violence. Nothing evil and nothing going to spark up. The protest will be peaceful. The organizers will present their petition to Mr. President and they will go back home. Liberia has a history of that. Several protests that people presented their petition to Mr. President, to the legislature, to other people, and they went back home with ease. In Wea's time, we can make reference to that. What did we hear the people say? Oh, they're walking, going back home. Look at them. Some of them hungry now. Look at them tired. They finished presenting a petition now. So what happened now? They're going back home because there was no violence. You want to use your education to help society and not create a tension-packed society. Don't put the people in a position like war is about to take place. Already, this is a traumatic society. You want to use your education psychologically to help. And you do that by appealing to the consciences of the people, by educating them, by telling them this is it, and it's not going to cost anything. That way, they will be all embracing, because one day they will have the opportunity or they will want to exercise their right in that direction. Or you too, who is saying today that protest is not necessary, it's violent by nature, you might be affected by something and you want to protest. And then the same people that you call ordinary people say, well, and you were telling us yesterday that the people who will not support the protest, then why you want to support you? Right there, they will not believe you again as an educated person. They will consider you as educated fool. Just as God considered those people as fool in the Bible, Luke chapter 12. We want to stop that. It is not how you gain fame, recognition, and get money from the government. I know that in our culture, once you can come out against things that the government don't want, then the government favors you, the government recognizes you, individual government officials can give you money. Sometimes the president passes on few dollars and to his minister to give it to XYZ. And let me say to the organizers and every other person, yeah, be careful. They have started to use money to neutralize it, to weaken it. That is one of their strategies. They did it with the two protests. They first started with Fendela Patrick's protests, and then they were excited, saying, oh, the men gave money to the protesters. No disrespect to Fendela Patrick, but he don't have the money. In fact, no organizer of protest would take money and give it to people to come out to protest. No. They use that money to get things that will aid the protest all over the world. Nobody gave money to protesters to come out. Instead, it is the government that uses money to neutralize protest, because no government wants protest. The reason why a government does not want protest, because it sends a negative signal to the international community. 1, 2, it discourages investors from coming. 3, it shows that the country is unsafe. 4, it shows that there is instability in that country. But if you can accept protest, yeah, what it also means that your government is dictatorial. Your government is tyrannical. Your government is despotic. And it is a bad credential which no government wants. Oh, yes. Let us stop the sycophancy in our country. Let's use the education to educate. We're not supporting this protest because we want something to happen. No. We support the protest because we see what is unfolding in government. Since the ascendancy of Mr. President, we've seen. 2, it is provided for in our Constitution. Let us not put the Constitution aside and allow one man's voice to reign. Then this is not a democratic culture. We're not supporting the protest because we want violence all over the place. No. All of us are helping to keep this country peaceful, stable, secure. That's why we will encourage nothing of such. But when we see it in the law, in our Constitution, and when the same people who today in power use the same Constitution yesterday to justify their protests, we have every reason to use the same Constitution to say you allow the people to exercise their right. And that is why Gregory Comer, even though we are doubtful of him, but we hold him to that. He referenced the Constitution, the 1986 Constitution, and international protocols. And international protocols. He referenced that. Meaning, there are international democratic protocols. There are international treaties that Liberia signed untold that they have to respect the fundamental rights of people and not to trample on their rights. One of them, the right to assemble. He referenced that. So those of you call yourself educated people, speaking against the protest today, Gregory Comer has shut your mouths. The government has shut your mouths. If I were one of you, I would stop talking, because it is a shame. You saying and speaking against something, then the people say, oh, come on, it is the right of the people. We will provide protection. Let them come up. What you need to be saying again? Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Why are you talking all over the place again? A couple of days ago, the government said, yes, we acknowledge that it is the right of every citizen to exercise their fundamental right. It is a major democratic tenet. We will allow the people of this country to protest. We have requested the organizers to come so that we coordinate, so that we work out a plan. If Isam Andrews was in opposition to that, and I hear the government approving it and calling for a coordination meeting, I would never ever, I would drop every other thing that I'm in opposition to. Because that alone, they tell me, oh, come on, shut up. So you educated people now, the government simply told you, you're shut up, you're close your oral cavity. Why you still talking? The boss say you go and protest. We'll protect you. Why it is true that we not too clear about the government whole operation, but I'm talking about the irony of the so-called educated people. You use your education to help society. You don't use your education to create tension. You don't use your education to get people traumatized. You don't use your education to create a scene like Liberia is in a war or protest is all about war and violence. No, you become psychological and you educate the people. Protest is not violent. Protest is simply a petition. We look forward to the organizers coordinating it well, and so that they will present their petition to the government, and at the close of the day, everybody will go home. Hence, it becomes the state responsibility. We urge the government to provide maximum security for the protesters. When you're talking that way, then you're talking patriotic, you're talking nationalistic, you're showing it. But just showmanship, oh, come on. They're just political showmanship. So Bwaka would say, yeah, the other person is a good man. Oh, the other person. Bwaka stood here. Bwaka knows everything. Unity Party protested here from the very first day we got into power. Hey, man, where is my gear? From the very first day we got into power, protest started. Unity Party never gave we any time to rest. There's protests. Who told you these Unity Party people are not aware? They are aware. The international community is aware. The records are there. All over the internet has all of the protests that the Unity Party carry on. Listen to the lady.
Once again, a very warm welcome to the program. This is The Morning Call. I am Nyasha K. Mutizwa. Now, we kick off the show in Liberia. In office for just 2 years, Liberians are growing increasingly impatient with President George Wea. A struggling economy, rising food prices, and corruption accusations have stirred anger and discontent against Wea, who campaigned on a promise of delivering pro-poor policies. There have been several protests against Wea's rule.
Did you hear it? You got her? She said there have been several protests against Wea rule. Protests from who? Unity Party. Must we start to name them? As I said, Wea, I can name you 10 different in order. The time, the place, everything. I'm not even going to that June 17th because that June 17th, even the unborn child knows that they were in the street. Yesterday, people were burning tires, they were putting tires, they were blocking roads. These educated people would say nothing to it. Oh, it wasn't violent at that time. It was peaceful because it was against Wea. Most of the people, listen, we don't want to tread certain routes. We've been around here, man. Chief, we saw some things. We know, we listen to we saw something. We beg you, man, please. Sometimes the microphone can get you emotional. Yeah, we want to say something there. We want to call some name. But we know. You stop that thing. You stop it. I hold your phone. I tell God to beg you up. I'm going to reach to the point where we start calling names and then saying some things about some people here, because I know when I'm picking in a business or being around for a while, you shut your mouth. Today you're talking, yesterday we saw you. People were burning tires all over the place. People were blocking cars. All kinds of things were happening. You people were here as educated people. You never said anything. You muted yourselves. Today you claim to be educated. And so, President, unnecessary. And you know, this country here has a history of this. You know the country has a history of this, but when they were burning tires, when people were sitting in America, when other people were here, when the government said you don't protest because of X, Y, Z, you people were not saying anything. I beg you, I hold you for Heavenly Father, help me. Let me not go with name calling. It's unprofessional, but sometimes because that's what God said in Matthew 7, do unto others as you have them do unto you. Meaning, if you want people to say anything about you, don't say anything to them, because they will have no cause, no reason to say anything to you. Just stop it. It hasn't helped this country. I've seen it over the years, and it will not help this country. Let's drop the sycophancy and the pretense. What the law said, let's respect the law. We should not see it in the law, then we say it should not exist. Then you igniting crisis. That's provocation. It's in the law says you do. Then you say no. Amen. Then what are you doing? You're creating chaos. You're creating a tension-packed atmosphere. You're provoking people to anger. You can suppress people's rights. God in heaven, who created all of us, he has never suppressed anybody's right, and he will never do it. That's why he said respect everybody. The very Bible that we read says, I am a Christian. And you people are Christians, except for the Muslim people and the Baha'i and the Buddhists, the Confucian. But the Bible is filled with verses on protest. The very Bible, look it up, just ask for protest. The very Bible is filled with protest. Because God sees it, he creates it, he allows it, he gave it a democratic value. The people before Pontius Pilate, they're just one of several. What did you see? That scene is why it's a protest. The democratic fundamental rights of the people, they say, this is our grievance reporting to you. This is our petition. Give us this man and do this. This is our petition. Pontius Pilate, please receive our petition. Did Pontius Pilate reject them? Did Pontius Pilate call the Roman guys to say, you flush these people out, they never saw permit, and they have no right to protest? What happened? He allowed them to assemble. They came out in their multitude before the square, and Pontius Pilate over them. That was a democratic gathering. Fundamental human rights on display. They say, Chief, this is our petition. Meaning, this is our statement. What did they do? They presented a statement. A petition or a protest can be oral, it can be written. That's the two forms is in. It can be oral, it can be written. So they presented oral petition. Oral, that's the same content. Written, the same content. So they said, Chief, this is our petition. You please accept our petition. This is our grievance. These are our grievances unto you. Hence, we look up to you to give a solution. And what did Pontius Pilate do? He said the will of the people must prevail. What are we with today going into July 17th? The will of the people. Where that comes from? The Constitution. Listen to the lady. The lady said there has been several protests against the Wea's regime. Came from who? These same United Party people. And I told you people who are seditionists, you take all of those, if not all, most of it, you get on the internet, they're there. You download it, you ask for United Party protests against CDC, they will bring all down. When you hear United Party people saying they never protest, just laugh. Because they don't even know their own record. Get on the internet, you will see all the protests against Wea. Listen to the lady again.
Been several protests against Wea's rule.
Yeah, there's been several protests. The people sitting down out of the country, they're not in Liberia, they're in other countries, but they follow. Every time there's a protest, it clicks to them. What is happening in Liberia again? Oh, the people are protesting against Wea government. Oh, who are the United Party people? Oh, United Party, Joe Buhari in opposition, former Vice President to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
And another major demonstration is planned for later today.
At the time they were filing this report, United Party was planning another one. No United Party, don't believe any United Party person that they never staged a protest against George Weah. That is a blatant lie, except that person that they will be saying it to, that person was not in the country for the next 50 years. But everybody who was in this country, and I'm saying it to you because I've been here, I saw it. With the few that in Buhari government, like Alexander Nuta, and those other strange people that we did not know. The rest of the people that we know very well, they supported the protest. They had the legal people explaining to them, the political people, the men who sitting at the Ministry of Information say that the young people will be stupid to get in the street. The other man who sitting at FBS saying that the people will be stupid. That other one part, he get mental problem at FBS. Because yesterday he was justifying the same protest. Today, he's against. Tell me, what sense that? Yeah? So your leader, one who said he are FBS. We've been here, we stay here. Believe me, that's why you have to listen to us. We don't lie to you. We don't come on King's FM or the shows to just talk to you because we want that. We present you reality. Yeah, the lady. I even bring BBC on your VOA, Al Jazeera, which over the days that I will be playing. So you say, I kept all for this time. Every night, and BBC, they Mo Ali and the other people, they were on BBC. Even Buhari was being interviewed by BBC on the same thing in Liberia protests. Why they were doing it? Today, because he sits as president and does not want it. And you expect the international community to say United Party reign under Buhari is democratic? No. Yes, the lady said there have been several protests. Several. People in different countries, they are aware.
Another major demonstration is planned for later today. There have been several protests against Wea's rule policies. There have been several protests against Wea's rule policies. There have been several protests against Wea's rule. There have been several protests against Wea's rule. 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 And another major demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally.
But did they listen? No. Did you hear the lady? Oh, truly, yes. Oh, there were too many interventions from everywhere. Unity Party never listened to these people. Come on. But Buhari exhibited it. Buhari showed it when he became president. When that issue happened in the House and ECOWAS came to intervene, what did Buhari do? He shunned off the people. He refused to give them any attention. ECOWAS, the EU, other people, other institutions, they say, hey, man, these things will stall development in Liberia, or government will not want to do business with the Liberian government. Investors will be discouraged to come to Liberia because when protests all over the country, it is convincing. So we beg here, let's intervene so that whatever the situation you have with we are government, we can sort it out so that the country remains peaceful, and then investors can come to the country, because ultimately you need to develop the country. That is the ultimate goal of leadership. The people said no. They said no. They never listened. They never accepted any intervention. Then they hired their people on the other side, which they were using as surrogates with different names. They said no. Yeah.
Urged the opposition to call off this rally route. Have urged the opposition demonstration is planned for later today. The United Nations and ECOWAS have urged the opposition to call off this rally route. And now we have one of the
that he was the spokesperson. Today, he's shame. He's shame. He's shame. Today, he's shame. He's shame. You read Matthew 7. Say, do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Today, he is very, very shame. You're listening to him. All the things that he about to say, that you hear him say against Wea, all of those things exist today. And that is why things are getting harder, and will get even harder for and against Buhari because of these guys' devilish heart. Listen.
Organizers and an activist joining us on the line. This is Mr. Mo Ali, who comes to us from the capital Monrovia in Liberia. A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Now, why have you organized this march against President Wea?
Morning. As to your first question, we have organized the march, not particularly.
Did he deny? Did he deny they did not organize a march? The lady said, why have you organized this march against Wea? It is march in political term. It's the same as assembling. It's the same as gathering. It is the same as meeting. It is the same as walking to a specific institution to present your position to a specific person. That's what it is. It is the same as protest. It is assembling or assembly. So the lady says she's using the protest. She's using the word protest, but that's how they will call it. It is the same as march. March is the same as protest, because you have to gather, you move to present your petition. So she said, why have you guys organized this march? Simply put, why have you guys decided to protest against Wea's regime?
We have organized the march.
And he said, we have organized the march. The lady said, why have you guys organized the march against Wea government? Then he said, we have organized the march, meaning we have organized the protest. There were dozens of protests. No unity party person can look in Sam Andrews' face and say they never protest. That the people or the person who stay out of this country for forever did not know anything. But not I, Sam Andrews, who being here, saw it in Wea's regime, would say, oh yes, I believe you. These people protest almost every week, 3, 4, 5 protests. Then today they didn't want it. This is a curse. When you did something to somebody and you don't want it to happen to you, you curse yourself. It goes with a curse.
We have organized the march, not particularly against.
I beg you, please, I'm not interrupting again. I hold your phone. You're just listening. When he finished, you want to tell me all the things that you hear him say. Whether those things are not happening in this government.
President Wea, but against
President Wea. From the capital Monrovia in Liberia. A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us on the program. Now, why have you organized this march against President Wea?
Morning. As to your first question, we have organized the march, not particularly against President Wea, but against the style of governance. There is exclusion of people who express their feelings, people who criticize government. There is corruption all over government. It is evidenced by the mismanagement of 25 million. He has refused to prosecute those involved. There's still the issue of 16 billion lingering. There is this issue of interfering with the judiciary. There is this issue of consistent interference with the functions of the legislature. There are lots of things. We have violations of our constitutions and laws. And so we are organizing this protest to tell Mr. Wea that these things are wrong, and also to tell the country how he intends to resuscitate the economy. As to the United States calling for dialogue between the ruling party and the opposition, let me say this very clearly. The opposition and pressure groups have always been willing to dialogue. It is Mr. Wea and his government who are not interested in dialogue. We've made series of suggestions on how we can tackle the governing menace that we have, on how we can tackle corruption, on how we can resuscitate the economy. Consistently, Mr. Wea has refused to dialogue with anyone. He's just shown that again. ECOWAS had asked him to dialogue. The United Nations has asked him to dialogue. His constant saying is that people lost election. They don't want to accept it. He has won election. He has the mandate, and so he can do everything on his own.
Let's have a listen to the chairman ahead of the July 17 protest, Chairman Molba Molu, head of the Solidarity and Trust for New Day, stand for short.
So we are grateful for the opportunity that we've been given to blessedly spearhead this very important mass-based redemptive and restorative initiative that is being supported by a groundswell of Liberians in their hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to ensure basic social services are protected and strengthened, to ensure that there is a restoration of the doctrine of the rule of law, to ensure justice throughout the country, regardless of status, regardless of one's education, regardless of one's class orientation, regardless of their ethnicity or religious background, is achieved for every Liberian citizen, be it those that are resident in the homeland or those that are in the diaspora. This process started small, as every genuine process auto, and has generated so much enthusiasm, to the extent that it is supported on every continent where Liberians are present, every country within the geographic bailiwick of the Republic of Liberia, every district, every zone, every hamlet, every mountaintop, across every river, before every valley. This is not a process that is about us, but about the people, the struggling citizens of the Republic, those that continue to be disenfranchised, the marginalized, the economically dispossessed, victims of cruel, insensitive, government-backed demolition exercises victims of state-backed, insensitive, and senseless demolition exercises, victims of police brutality, those that are alienated from civil service because of their political identities, Liberians that have been excluded from being beneficiary of a viable healthcare sector that continues to be dilapidated and remains deplorable. While President Wea lies every day to the people of Liberia, to the extent where the deplorability of the healthcare sector is visible. Marketeers who leave their homes every day go to various market centers, various business locations, and sit all day without one customer coming to ask, how much is this, how much is that? They leave home empty, go to marketplaces, and go back home empty. And sometimes they have to pay more than what they made in profit or capital to run commercial vehicles or to run motorbikes that have been restricted. Bike riders in the hundreds of thousands that constitute a viable component of our economy, from whom more than 14 million US dollars were generated in taxes, licenses, helmets, reflective jackets. But yet they are not allowed to move about freely. Motorbike riders contributed in 1 year more than 14 million United States dollars to the national budget. Yet their rights are being restricted from plying the street to go to Central Monrovia, where corrupt government officials go to work only to dilly-dally for pleasantries, and they are paid by taxpayers who struggle, who labor to raise resources for the corrupt to enjoy. The time has come to say enough is enough. No matter the efforts being made to politicize this process, it is a non-political activity. It's a non-political struggle. It is about the people of Liberia that are struggling every day. Taxes have been raised from their backs, from their struggles, from their sufferings. They labor every day, some break rack, some on minefields, working on plantations.
Please give me the next few minutes. Let's have a full understanding. This is a live news conference, so I will give you people the time to have your say. But this is a live briefing. He's addressing the media presently and other officials.
This bandit unit and the elite police force was deployed by Joseph Boakai himself under his authority. 3 young men that would have been seated today with us in this conference room, or that would have been in the classroom, or that should have been someplace doing legal hustle, were brutally gunned down by the Gregory Coleman-led police force, only for exercising their democratic right to protest against the bad labor practices of Bee Mountain in Grand Cape County, that is hauling millions and millions, if not tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions per annum to foreign capitals, while the living condition of Cape Mountaineers remain degraded, remain inhumane. when the people of Grand Cape are dehumanized every day on economic deprivation, the time has come for Liberians to stand and say enough is enough. I went to JFK, the John F. Kennedy Medical Center, where Joseph Boakai doing the sauna lied. Boakai lied at the State of the Nation address that prescription drugs have been procured for medical centers, including JFK. But today, don't take my word for it, go to JFK. Ordinary Liberians go to state-run hospital. Some die on the floor because there are no beds to treat patients. Nursing mothers with their children, young baby mothers, have to endure hardship in hospital walls, suffer hunger because funding raised or provided by the state to provide feeding for nursing mothers is either inadequate or cannot provide a good nutritional diet, to the extent where nurses have to put money together to buy food for nursing babies or for nursing mothers that are breastfeeding their babies. At the JFK, don't believe my words, go there. No matter how much they try to watch the hospital and make it look good, within the walls of that entity lies the cruelty of abandonment by a government that prides itself on coming to rescue the Liberian people. If JFK is deplorable and dilapidated, if women are held in captivity at JFK for weeks, for days, because they cannot raise $40 US to pay for their medical bill when they give birth, they think about what is happening in Refugee or Maryland County, or even Lofa, where Joseph Boakai hails from. Except we must add that he's from Lofa and Sierra Leone, or Grand Cape County, or Babolu, Mangibi, Bon County, even Nimba, where Jeremiah Kun comes from, but is spending more money on empowering and brutalizing people or weaponizing the police force than investing in the healthcare sector in Nimba. Our people are struggling in Grand Bassa County or Riverside or Grand Jida, even Monserrado's District 1, District 17, and other districts are equally cut off from healthcare delivery advantages. The time has come to say enough is enough. The AFL consider the guardians of our territorial or border integrity patriotic men and women in the army who are supposed to be beneficiaries of the best social services that citizens deserve, because these are men giving their lives, or that should give their life for the country. They live in barracks that are most times cut off from key social services. Most of these barracks lack latrine facilities or toiletry facilities. There's the presence of poor sanitary facilities that is contributing to the outbreak of sicknesses that put their families at risk. You found 10 persons, you found 12 persons You found 8 children, 5 children bundled in one small room at the various barracks of the armed forces of Liberia. The inconvenience of their subjugation is unbearable, and government is neglecting that vital sector. The AFL are men and women, or constitute men and women that should not be cut off, that should not be deprived of basic social services. Because they have families, they have their children, they have their wives. That must not be forgotten. A situation where Patrick Honor of the LTA is procured gasoline or fuel that runs in the thousands of dollars, where a member of the army makes $250 per month. It's cruelty to the service. It's an insult to the intelligence and the service of the men and women in arms. It must be revised. The time has come to say enough is enough. The police. Today, police people continue to be cut off from basic social economic advantages. And I'm not surprised to have seen videos or a particular video trending social media of Mr. Coleman's police force, or a police force that has been reduced to becoming symptomatic of a partisan police force that suggests they are like the militant wing of the ruling United Party. A police force that has been so degraded, a police force that has men and women that are intelligent, that are trained, and that are professionals, appears to have given way to criminals of mediocrity. And we are hearing this is to be investigated, allegedly, that Gregory Cuomo recruited criminals. In some cases, people from the NSA are now in police uniform. So no wonder you see the dramatic display of mockery to the service, where police officers are demonstrating violence or pro-violent messages, and are demonstrating a scenario that is provocative for the security and the protection of peaceful protesters. If you have a professional police force that was trained by U.S. taxpayers' money, the government of the United States, and thanks to them, spend their taxes, their tax dollar, to train this police force, and has been mismanaged by Gregory Cuomo and transformed to take on the appearance of a militant arrangement or a militant surrogate grouping of the ruling United Party that continues to disgrace its patriotism, its doctrine of service, and is behaving as though they are loyal to Greg and not to the state. Where the police is even now trying to desecrate the messianic teaching in the history of our Messiah, marching in arms and citing from John 11:35 and using that to create fear, pandemonium, and panic Do you know the meaning of John 11:35? Do you know why Jesus wept? He wept at the grave of Lazarus. That is a tragic depiction of the burden he carried as a Messiah that is sensitive to the plight of a human being. He was mourning for the loss of his brother, of a friend. He was mourning for the tragic reality of a world lost to sin, a world that had lost faith and became dejected and chose their own path. The police is trying to mistakenly, erroneously draw inspiration from John 11:35 to establish a pattern of brutality. Shame on you for twisting the agony of a Messiah to appease your desire for bloodshed or for bloodletting. They are marching in police uniform, carrying guns, and quoting John 11:35, where there is a peaceful protest planned for July 17. Are you sending a message that you will brutalize civilians on July 17 and misquoting John 11:35 and using that to weaponize your agenda to brutalize, to subjugate, and victimize peaceful protesters that are campaigning for the rule of law, for stability, for economic growth, for justice, etc. This is wrong. Warning up in blue, our national colors, with arms, to demonstrate their preparedness to victimize, to cause mayhem, to attack innocent citizens, as it was done in Kinjal. This is blasphemous. You blaspheme the name of the Messiah for those of us that are Christians. And the Christian church must rise up in swift condemnation, because men carrying guns that are brutalizing innocent civilians cannot be drawing strength from the messianic examples of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Regardless, we are peaceful, we are non-violent, but we are fearless. We will stand, we will confront you. We will resist your tendency towards blood. We will do it. We will be non-violent, but we will continue to be fearless. Because we are the people, and power is inherent in the people. We're not afraid of you. Not even Buhari. And this establishes why the likes of Gregory Common must resign. While masterminds of these sort of brutal actions and undemocratic proceedings like Kofi Wu must resign. We will never retreat from stood low. We will not compromise. We will keep standing, even at the peril of our lives. We will not retreat from any coward like Joseph Buhari, who remains a coward, the biggest coward of this republic, that sits before the world's most powerful man, that asked him, what can I do for your country? And Buhari could not even present his agenda to the President of the United States. He couldn't discuss health care or education or the failing economy. He could not. Or peace and stability. Liberians are dying there from hunger for the lack of basic social services.
The head of solidarity and trust for new day, Molba Molu, adding substance ahead of July 17 protests, the necessity, why it is necessary, why the protest is justified, why Liberians, the doubters, must believe them, and it will be peaceful, it will be non-violent. The next few minutes for you, you can have the next few minutes. I will take as many of you as I can in is 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. I will take as many of you as I can. That means you don't want to hang on the line. You don't want to romanticize or like the British journalist would say, or former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, sex the dossier. You don't want to sex the call or the phone. That means you hanging on it, explaining long history, like you romancing. You just want to go straight to the point so that we can take as many as it can before we go. 0772 23 99 33 086 30 44 97 0777 980375. Don't forget the Kings support basket 0555 885 885 0777 017 885. Don't forget to drop something. Every day you should drop something in the Kings basket, King support basket. Keep supporting. We are headed into 2029. Let's go now. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
You are on the air, Chief.
How are you?
I'm fine. Let's hear you.
Yeah, firstly, I'd like to say that your key guest, Mama Molu, doesn't have the morals to come on the radio to discuss anything that has to do with everything he flagging out that the government does or that the government has done.
So, the government has the moral, eh? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, brother Andrew. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay. Just monitor the radio. One by one when you were reading, you got to play. You're playing it. The only thing we're telling Gregor Como, we're going for our protest. We're not going to destroy anything. We're going for peaceful protest. Peaceful protest. That's what we're going for. He should tell his boys. We don't want no security, nothing. We don't want water. We want food for them. Nothing on the camp. We going there peacefully. We going to destroy anything. So his boys there, he should pack them to Central. When we finish protesting, he left for them to get on the street. Thank you.
Thank you too for calling. Have a nice day. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon.
My name is Petro. Thank you for dropping that door. I just left it now.
No.
Asking you a question.
No, don't do that. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Josephus calling from Corway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be at that protest. I will be there. 2017, we'll be there.
All right.
Enough is enough. Thank you.
Chief. Yes. Thank you so much. You don't refer to your fellow man as a dog. Don't do that. Say what you can say. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm Leo Pico calling from Oro.
Let's hear you, Leo.
Yeah, Mr. Andrew, I just telling say someone have the moral, someone have the moral. President Booker at the time as vice president, he had the moral to go protest in the country. Yeah? Your talk here?
Talk here, yeah.
So your teacher said that when you want to go to school, I want to go to Woods, or I want to have teacher who will have students. What is your thing? We are not positively. Or you see the country only for your one. When you're causing who means our protesting here, Joseph Booker Jeff on social at that time. After the people in hospital bill, we were protesting on Capitol building. You ever say it on the red messenger?
All right.
Clapping for Yakakoloba causing the Chief Justice on Unification Day. You ever say he's not a red messenger? Did you a Gregory?
All right,
Gregory, like he must do anything he want to do, but he want over every action. Let there be a counter reaction.
They will provide protection. They have already said it. We give them the benefit of the doubt. They will provide protection. Hello.
Hello, friend, brother Andrew. This is D.Y. McLean.
No, sorry, McLean. That line is for the women. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
You are on the air, Chief.
Yes, my name is Justin Cowler. I'm putting up for you for the UN Drive. Yeah, but Sam, thank you for the show. So the issue, I want to talk about two things. I just want to pass back into the officers who disgrace themselves to the war. For us, work carried on the line. So not really looking at that. That's not the issue for the upcoming protest. Now, with the issue, we just asking some of them, the officers, I think they got flash screen in their place there. They can even be showing some crime scenes, how the police can engage in the question, or when protesters or who are protesting in a country, they can be showing it there. And you can see how they can show some high level of police learning. But we just hope that when we come out the 17th of this month, we hope they will provide us security.
They will. They said it. They said it.
We are looking at what they're doing.
Okay. No, Chief. They said that they would do it. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't. Hello. Hey. No. Hey, man. You don't do that. Y'all give people ear complaint. Can't be the radio loud, then you call. Hello.
Thank you, Sam. Good evening to you, Sam. And let me say something to those who follow the show. Sam, my name is Hussein. I'm Hussein Kewo, and I give District 2 in Jacobson. Sam, thank you for preserving the sanity of the show. I want to appreciate you so kindly. Other talk show will allow the callers to misbehave and attack people, especially for Hussein Kewo. When I call, they attack my president. Given the issue, you're one of those persons. Few of you guys that protect the image of the show. Thank you so kindly. So I followed the press conference that was held by Mobile Model. So like I told one of my friends, Sam, I would join that protest on 3 conditions. Please permit me to lay out those conditions. One.
But why would you join the protest? You are on the opposite side. You are Unity Party supporter. Why will you? They pay you. They pay you. They're using you as a surrogate to cause confusion. Why will you say you will be part of the protest? You are not so.
Right? You agree I'm a Liberian, right?
You are not so. No, Chief. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Except you are announcing now that you are one of those that they chose to use as a surrogate to cause confusion.
Sam, I am a Liberian.
No, Hussein. No, Chief. That didn't make sense. My man, you're talking to a literate person. What do you call that Liberian thing there? How will you say I'm a Liberian? Why would you want to be part of it? You should stay off. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, because the war you started for that, but the research you
no, but you don't do that. If somebody can say things, then you say the same thing.
No, that's true. Sorry. And July 17 will be on the street. I will see that and figure today all on social media will see it, but that wasn't be all scary. They will protect us who are on the street. They will have a protection for all who care after this petition. All you say, we're not carrying nothing. I wear my wet teacher will change traffic. Nothing I will have in my hand. Only my money I'll put in my pocket to buy water and drink. Because I won't put anybody on a place. So you can't pressing me. So who water, who bread to eat. So we'll go to last 17 to protect and preserve our petition. We're not going to call any chaos. But when we go petition, our petition, if the police move for them and say, oh, they will see the crowd. Then they know that the crowd damage our government, they won't attack on. The people that the family will come from, but we ain't coming anything to point.
No, they won't attack you. They will not attack you.
Thank you, Papa.
They will not attack you. Okay. The police said no, they can't do anything funny. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. My busy. There you go. There you. You coming blazo? Okay.
People will God off. They must look for water. We pray that our money cash money. I want somebody to provide. We're going up for peace. Hello?
Yeah, man, Bessie, I'm listening to you.
We're going up for peace. We're doing it for our grandchildren. They learn it for everybody. Tomorrow they say they will need power. So they will not rule or they have to say the power for themselves. We're going there. They want to say they must do it. I enjoy my son. Who they see do? We will buy there. Buy there, say, go there, yeah. I like where it's cafe. I like where it's scared. I wear my lapasu, my white brass, my white hater, my white hater in my hand. I'm coming there. So thank you, Oman. We're doing.
All right, my Bessie.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Leah calling from Broadway, Motogono. I want to know because I want to ask questions there, but they continue, but they I get no idea what it.
What's that?
Somewhere.
I can say, yeah. I can say because I don't know. I only were talking about the right of citizens, right of Liberians to protest, and the police can do anything funny they should not do. But I do not have the schedule. I hope that I could share it. You're right. Very important by now. They should know. Yeah, people should know. Yeah, I can say I can't say anything to that. But I'm sure they will come out very shortly. But I will okay. So what I would do, yeah, I will talk to Chokon shortly because he just sent me a message. He said in the meeting, Buhari agreed to receive their petition, but some of the people are telling him not to. So I will talk to him. I will call him. Then I'll ask him that question. Yeah, they stay on. Right. The briefing stay on. Maba Molly stay talking. So when they finish, I will call Chokon. All right. Hello.
Hey, Sam Andrew.
Yeah.
This is the Dr. Marcy on the line here.
Let's hear you, Dad.
Yeah. Sam Andrew, thank you for the talk. So I would tell Liberians, don't be panicked, don't be afraid. Come out. July 17th. They did not fight it. And then one day after the other. You know what I'm saying, Sir Andrew? You listen to the woman on BBC that's talking about we are protesting for fun. The pressure where we are. We say yes. For them, more Ali and you get reason to protest in this country. Even the child, so they more protest about we are. How they treat we are in this country. They said that for their right protest, because they are Liberians, they want to destroy their differences to the government. And government get exchange. They protested all over the place. Everywhere you go to a monitor, even the child, in the show commission farm, in the compound, you were here, you saw it. In front of embassies, you saw it mainland. Before Galaxy Fire Bill, in front of the embassy, they put in front of the Capitol building. Even go as far to the marshal. You understand? We were here. But here they said, we're shooting police around here. 30 police, shooting the ferries. But here they said, the boys there, protecting them. And who was there for them? But all one from them is to guide us in the process. If anybody takes the train and want to enter in our protest, want to be party, we will want our party, tell us to the police. But when they tell us we must start to broadcast,
you should do citizen arrest and turn it over. You're right. Anybody you're suspect, you're not satisfied with the person, you're just quietly turn the person over to the police.
Yes, because I know they get some man, you only play for that, you send for them, also carry a bomb because all they said it. That people go down in the country,
all right, my
and the protest, so we'll call it on Liberians. If you feel the protest too, stay home. But for me, I'm hurt. People leaving their job, but I don't receive the anymore. Listen, come out. They're not going to put on the last time from that place. Citizen in Liberia. You're in Liberia with some worker in protest there.
All right, my sister.
All right. Citizen protest. That's the protest here. That Liberia put tire and fellow will set all men.
But even if they say that CDC protest, the thing that happening, the CDC people alone in the country, and everybody feeling it.
Everybody feeling it. Everybody start feeling it. They're crying. They're taking off for them for cheese, and they're taking off for position, taking for job. They are crying. They are feeling the money off. Come out. Don't take home. Come out. Don't be afraid.
All right, Dad.
I just show it. Don't be afraid. We can't be anybody afraid.
Okay,
Dad. We're not babies, not potato. We're million.
Thank you, Dad.
Whosoever.
All right. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, my brother. Thank you for your show. I'm Eric from the borough of Nikita. The protest, we're waiting for the protest. But while they're coming our way, we already get the information. But for everything that we do, we continue to remain new. Our intention with going away is to give our petition for the protest. We don't got nothing else on our mind. Government must start threatening people or start making people scary. Another thing, Maruba Molu should stand a man. And the area that he gave it that we will go and stand to give our petition, I see no light in it that we can get petition when we stand there.
Where is that?
They're saying that we will stand around the Jalatan area, that the demarcation they're giving us to go. How you will stand around Jalatan area and then you get petition? It's not possible. So I appealing to the government for the sake of peace. Let the protest be peaceful. Then let everybody come home freely. We don't want no food from them. We don't want no support from them. Everybody going, we're going with our own food. Nobody carry coat suit, nobody wearing gun, nobody carrying jacket, nobody carrying bag bag. And the very police, I heard Man City just said that when we arrest people in the protest, we turn it over to the police. And everybody that will be in our protest, that we will turn over to the police. By the time we turn over by the police, we release the people because the police know exactly why the people on.
Thank you.
See that idea. So I advise that international people should be there when we get anybody.
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. They think they're not secret thing. They're not on a grand tunnel thing. The whole world is aware of July 17th. The whole world will be watching. International journalists will be here. All those things. Don't worry. Chief, don't worry about those things. Don't worry. Just make sure you conduct yourself in a peaceful manner. That's all. Give the people the benefit of the doubt. Hello.
Yeah, what are you?
Yeah.
Yes, and this is the father of Sabubas that sent my phone from point 4 to be successful in Zimbabwe. No, and that is serious. No, yeah, it's a cool Somoruba Moru first person before I proceed. Well, yeah, when who's seen and saying and come also, the last time listen to a board making on Car FM, talking about he will come also on that day. No, then let me see what in the player, and on that day. Will be protecting Liberia because it is our right to come outside to protest when our government who we elected are not doing the right thing. Then we will not be eating them. Anybody in Liberia who see the future or the future, we are waiting for them. We waiting for them. Say, our own protest about we don't do peace of the future.
Don't go protest targeting people or specific person. No, you have to guide against these the people's strategies. When you fix certain people in your mind, or you just have the mindset that certain people going to do this, so we target them, then you spoil your own thing.
No, we're not going to target
but leave the people, leave the band. Why would you say we target Hussein because he said he's going there? No, your concern should be conduct yourself in a peaceful manner. The expression "give the benefit of the doubt" means you're doubtful of the police. You're not satisfied with the police. You know that the police, you have in mind they will do something or they plan to do something. So to make them to look funny as liars in the eyes of the people, you don't do anything other than conducting yourself well. That way, they will have no reason to do anything, even if they have something in mind, even though they brought out John 11:35. John 11:35 means, or it says Jesus wept. If John 11:35 is brought in a security political context, the interpretation is the organizers, the protesters, were weeping. that means they will feel sorry for coming out and they will never ever try it again. Whoever brought that out, whoever used that expression or that quotation, they have to, the police director will have to. So now it is clear. On the eve, because I consider this to be the eve, today is the 15th, tomorrow is 16th, so that's the eve. Using that in a security political context, it simply means the protesters will weep, they will regret it, they will never ever talk about protests again. It also means that the police is ready to do anything to any protesters, because John 11:35 means Jesus wept for Lazarus. In a political context, in a security context, it's said in the reversal. Meaning, if you don't want to weep, don't get out. If you want to weep, if you want to regret it, then you get out. If you are man, if you are woman enough, get out. That's what it means. All of us can read the Bible. We are Christians, we know. John 11:35. I think, if not the shortest, but one of the shortest verses, but I think it's the shortest verse in the New Testament. Jesus wept. Jesus wept for Lazarus. The interpretation that Moluba Molu gave, yes, he's right. That's his own understanding. But I am telling you that is exactly what it means when they use it that way. The key word there is weep. And weep means to regret, to suffer loss. And on we can go. Jesus suffered the loss of Lazarus. That means he regretted Lazarus' death. That's why the text says Jesus wept. If you're using that in a security and political context, it doesn't go with the same connotation or denotation. It moves. It moves. The definition is out. The application is out. It takes on brutality or brutal posture. Simple. Oh, yeah. So whoever may have said or may have brought that out, I think they gave the protesters a clear understanding, or they exposed themselves. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Chief, sorry. 077798037 women's line. Hello?
How are you, sir?
Yeah.
This is Pastor Aaron McGill.
Pastor Aaron McGill. Let's hear you, Pastor.
Yeah. Well, I'm very much interested in your deliberations, and I'm trying to submit a bill, but I very
Pastor McGill, you want to lower your radio so everybody will understand you clearly.
I far away from the radio.
Yeah, because I'm experiencing feedback. Or yeah, let's go. Maybe it's the phone.
Okay. Yeah. I say I must be very concise with you. I love your deliberation. It is very much educative because the Liberian populace needs to be educated. And those information that you can be disseminating, it is very much prudent of you. Okay, to the issue. I would like to tell you that it is the right of the Liberian people to speak out when it is necessary. Like in times like this, it is very much necessary for the people to continue to carry on whatsoever the topic is. And the next thing, the government should be able to listen at the plight of the people, because the voice of the people is the voice of God.
All right, Pastor.
And, yeah.
Let me ask you before you go, Pastor McGill, will you be part of the protest? Have you decided to be a part of it on July 17th?
For us who stands as pastor in the land, we should be sensitizing the people on true venture. And so for this reason, I will dare to say in this capacity that the people have the right to stand up by constitutional provision.
Will
So
you
for
be
me,
at
as
the
a pastor,
protest? Have you
for
decided
me,
to be
as
a
a
part?
pastor, to be within the protest, I see it disingenuous from my part of my function. I should be able to be sensitive enough to knowing that when things are going wrong, I must be able to stand firm in the land and acquaint those that are in authority that things are wrong.
All right, Pastor.
Yeah, please just give me a good minute.
No,
This is the reason why
we're
I want to
already out of time, Pastor. Thank you so much. I appreciate
okay,
it.
thank
You
you,
might,
thank you.
yeah, you
Okay,
have the time to say your extension tomorrow. Tomorrow. We already out of time. Thank you ever so much. That's all the time. So it's the 17th. It's the right of every citizen. Unity Party protested yesterday. Protest is not wrong. All of you who have decided to vent out your anger, which is righteous anger, guide against temptations. Don't leave yourself vulnerable. Make sure that you don't engage into anything funny. You give them no reason to trick you so that it doesn't go against you. Conduct yourself in a peaceful way. I know that the planners have done that already. They have spoken, but it is our responsibility also, since we have the masses before us, to extend the voices of the organizers that you conduct yourself right. Please give them the benefit of the doubt. Make them shame. Don't leave yourself vulnerable. Don't give into anything. Don't listen to voices from the outside. They will attempt or they will throw some missiles at you. Don't respond. They will just do something to stir up confusion, and then the police will take advantage of it. As much as it is the responsibility of the state to provide security, also that you believe the police by their presence, you should not equally believe them 100% by leaving yourself vulnerable. Remember now, they will operate in disguise. They'll pretend like they're supporting you, but they will want to create a sin or take advantage of a sin or attribute a sin to you. That is why, even if somebody threw cane at you, you push that cane aside or you don't even respond. That way, the police, if they have any sinister plan, it will not work. I beg you all, I appeal to you. I know that it's hard to resist temptation. People always want to retaliate, but when you find yourself in a fluid situation like this, you have to restrain yourself. You have to restrain yourself. If you are a Christian, live, put in your mind as you go for the protest. James 1:19. Hear what it said. Be slow to speak, quick to hear, slow to anger. Listen to them, speak less, don't speak to them, show no anger. That way you will defeat the predatory nature in them, the devil in them. But if you just attempt to look at somebody because they said something to you, or they threw something and then you attempted or you threw it back, forget it. Ready, Ifinio. Remember now, the devil only takes advantage of opportunity. Simple thing, it becomes big. So give the police the benefit of the doubt. That's it. We'll continue to caution. We'll continue to talk. It is your right. It is the Constitution. It is a democratic tenet. No one can dismiss it. It is your fundamental right. You have every reason to exercise it, just as Unity Party in opposition exercise theirs on insistence. At least for you, you're not insisting, you're using the law. They, even though they saw it in the law, people appeal to the consciences, they insisted. That's it. Thank you ever so much. That's all the time we've got to be on the show. We're back tomorrow. Join us if you can at 8 o'clock. Teacher Light, Anthony at Law, A.B. Wea is on. We'll face the issues. You don't want to miss it. I'm Sam Andrews. Shalom.